guys, welcome back to Weekly Devotionals. So this week I kind of want to talk about, I'm kind of doing like a little bit of what my pastor talked about this morning and a little bit of my own stuff because I kind of just was thinking about it and just kind of putting it all together, I guess. And so this is what I want to talk about, and I kind of want to, she talked about it in the sense of being mature. I want to talk about it in the sense of being wise, but I kind of want to talk about it in the sense of being young and wise, I guess. So the first thing I want to say is that a lot of my friends and my age group and the people that I'm around all the time, a lot of us are growing up, we're getting older, we're having to deal with harder things, more adult things, I guess you can say. We're getting jobs, we're having to pay our own bills and stuff like that. And when you're this age, you still have that sense of you want to do things, like you want that freedom, you want that life, you want that fun in your life, like you don't want to grow up so fast. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, but I want to relate it back to, I guess, your Christian walk, and how it all ties into being young and being wise, I guess. So when you think about wisdom, you think about, let's just be honest, you think about them old men and ladies who are sitting there talking in that southern voice, and they're just, now listen here, when I was younger. And that's just what I think about. I just think about old people. And if you're an old person watching this, sorry, but it's true. You the wisest ones. But young people can be wise too, because I think that being wise in a religious standpoint is different than being wise in life, I guess. So I want to read this verse that I like actually a lot. Like, I like this verse a lot because it kind of just, it's like I don't know, it kind of just says everything in a few words. But it's Proverbs 14:1, and it actually says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands." And I like the end of this because it says, the first part of it obviously says, "Every wise woman builds her own house." So I guess I'll break down that first. So when you hear this verse, you're thinking about like a woman building her own house. Now let's be straight up. In today's society, women are seen, now of course you have the whole feminist movement and you have the whole whatever, and I'm not getting into that because that's a whole other side of opinions that I don't have. Like, if we were to start on those opinions, we would be here for a hot minute because everybody's opinions are different, and I respect everybody's opinions, but everybody's opinions are different, so it's just not something I want to get into today. But every wise woman builds her house. So in today's world, women are seen as not being able to do strong things and doing, like, since like I can't pick up a car and move it across a field, but somebody who body lifts, whatever it's called, body weight lift, whatever y'all fit people call it, y'all probably can push that car all the way to Africa if you wanted to. I don't know. Y'all superhuman people. But anyways, where I wanted to get with this verse before I got on a tangent was the first part of it where it says, "Every wise woman builds her house." This is not just talking about women. I think that this applies to men too. But if you're wise enough, you start from the ground up. That's what I'm trying to do with these devotions. I'm starting from the ground up. Y'all, I am posting this on YouTube, and I don't have professional lighting. I'm filming this on my phone. I just got out of dance practice, so I mean, this is what you get, and this is me building it from the ground up. Will I one day have professional lighting? Will I one day care about what I look like in these videos? Maybe. Who knows? Probably not. I'm not putting money on that. But maybe. Who knows? But this is me building it up. This is me building it from the ground up. And that's what this verse literally says in the beginning. Every wise woman builds her house. Where do you start with a house? You start at the foundation. So with your Christian walk, you have to start at the foundation. You have to start at the roots. We were talking this morning, and my youth leader gave her testimony, and I liked one part of something she said was that everything on the outside, everything that human eye could see, everything that we could see looked fixed. It looked fine. She went about her daily life and it looked fine. But what was grounded inside of her, what was rooted inside of her, was causing these terrible things, was causing these horrible thoughts. And I'm not going to get into it because it's not my testimony to tell. But she wasn't grounded. Like her groundment, her foundation wasn't strong enough. Her foundation was shook. And that's how you build a house. You can't build a house on a broken foundation. You can't build a house on a foundation that's not stable enough to hold up this house, or what's the house going to do? It's going to fall through. So when you're building this foundation on how to be wise, on how to be a wise woman or a wise man or youth or teen, whoever you are, you've got to start with this clean-cut foundation. And that's what God gives you when you get saved, when you become a Christian, I don't even like to say when you become a Christian, because today's world has taken being a Christian and they have destroyed its meaning. But that's what happens. God gives you a clear foundation. God gives you a clean slate. When you go to Him, let's not put titles on it. Let's not put meanings behind it. But when you go to Him and you're like, hey, God, like, I'm done living this life. I'm done being on this horrible foundation. I want to build my foundation up with you. I want a clean slate. I want to start over. And when you're building this house, when you're building your walk with God, there's going to be nails that you nail in the wrong way. There's going to be walls that might not hold up the right way that you got to take back down and build again. And what I mean by that is you're not going to always be perfect in this walk. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be things that happen. There's going to be things that happen in your life that just cause the boat to rock, cause the house to shake. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, there's going to be things that happen. That's life. And I think a lot of times people look at this, starting to build this house and look at this foundation, and they're like, okay, I have to be perfect in everything. And that's not what God is asking from you. He's not asking for you to be perfect. He's asking you to love Him. And He's asking you to go after Him and to spread His word and to love Him. And that's something that I had to continue to drill in my head, because if I make a mistake, or if I do something I'm not supposed to do, or if I, just do something wrong, I don't even, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you do something wrong, I'm like, man, like, what is the point? Like, why am I doing all this if I'm just gonna mess up? And God has to remind me over and over again, it's not about what you do wrong, it's about your heart. It's about going to God and being like, God, like, I'm sorry that I did this. I know that I'm not supposed to do that. And I actually had this discussion with one of my friends last night, because we were talking about our community and, like, our youth group and how tight-knit we are, because we are a tight-knit group. We do, we are really close friends. All of us hang out with each other. We're all each other's friends. But when one of us messes up, I feel like we turn, like, sometimes we're like, we don't handle it the right way. But we were talking about how we can handle things better, how we can, like, handle situations, handle people's mess ups better. And we decided, like, you have to do it out of love. Like, you have to do it out of, like, going to him and be like, look, like, you and I both know that this is wrong, but we love you enough to say, like, look, this is, you can do better than this. You have a better plan than this. Like, you have a better walk than this. And that's how you do it. You do it out of love, and you do it out of support, and you don't just be like, how could you do this? Like, how could, like, you like, just bashing them for something, for a mistake. And that's what it is. It's a mistake, and that's what you have to continue to understand. I don't know how I got on that, but I did, so I'm just saying. So the second part of this verse says, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. I love this part of this verse, because the beginning of it talks about a woman, and you think a strong woman, a wise woman building her own house. Well, in the second part of this verse, it literally just turns around and flips it and says, a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. I love this verse because it literally is saying, you are the reason why you're not being able to walk this walk with God. It's not God's fault. It's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's not their fault. It's your fault. You are the one that can say yes. You have the option. You have the choice to go after God. God's not forcing you. He's always going to be there, and he's going to stand there, and he's going to wait, and he's patient. and he loves you more than anything else in this world, but he is not going to force your hand. He's not going to force you to go up to that person and say, hey, God loves you. He's not going to force you to go pray for that person over there that you can't stand. He's not going to force you to give your money every week. He's not going to force you to donate something that you don't want to donate money that you think you don't have. He's not going to force you to do that. He's not going to force you to listen to him, but he's also not going to bless when you're sitting there not doing what he's calling you to do. Like you're over here like, well, man, why am I not gaining followers on this account? Why am I not, like, when I say followers on this account, I mean like your Instagram account. I mean, like, why am I not, like, let's say you have like what I have, like, why am I not gaining followers on this? Maybe I'm not doing everything God's telling me to do. Maybe I'm not listening to what he's telling me to do. And you're wondering, and you're sitting there and you keep asking these questions, but you're not asking God, you're asking yourself, and it is your fault why you're not where you want to be with God. It's not anybody else's fault but yours. God's there. He's waiting for you to meet him. And that's why I love this verse, because it says a foolish one tears it down with their own hands. It doesn't say that, oh, you know, God's just, he's not doing his part. He's just, you know, like he's taking too long, so I'm just going to go my own way. He's just not doing what I thought he was going to do, so I'm going to make my own decision. And you have free will, and we actually talked about this morning too in Sunday school. You have free will to make that decision to not go God's path. There are two roads that you can take in life, and that's God's, and then that's your own way. That's the world's way. You have every road that when you're at this point right here deciding which way to go, you have every right, every will, everything to go that way. But if you go that way, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to get to this intersection. There's no intersection that if your mindset is, I don't want to walk with God, you are not going to be able to get the blessings that God has for you if that is your mindset. But let's say you're on this road and your mindset changes. God's going to open up that intersection. God's going to allow you to come over to his road. But if you keep the mindset that you will never follow God's path, that you have your own path, you cannot expect his blessings if you're not willing to take his road. That's like expecting to get on a highway or expecting to get to Disney World, but you're taking the wrong highway to get there. I mean, that, like, you're not going to get to Disney World if you take a highway that sends you to Canada. I don't really know how roads work, but, like, you get what I'm saying. Is there a Disney World in Canada? I don't know. But anyways, that's what I was saying. And I know there's kind of a weird, like different, sorry, my battery came up, but I know this was kind of a different thing. And I know this is going on YouTube and the lighting's bad and I look a mess, but whatever. I'm not going to be like every other YouTuber has all this pretty setup and everything. You get what you say. So I'm not going to edit out anything. Y'all are just going to see that. That's how it's always been. So I hope y'all enjoyed, and thank you for watching as always. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all next week. I guess there's nothing else I have to say. Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.